Good day, fellow Nigerians and fellow Obedience and fellow Nigerians nationwide. What I'm going to say now is going to come as a shocker to a lot of people who knows me and knows my solid support for the Obedience movement. It pains my heart very much to say this, but I have to say it. I have been a supporter, a motivator in the Obi movement. I have supported him both financially, physically, spiritually, morally, and otherwise. And I'm still going to keep on supporting him, even as much as I know that all my efforts are going to be in vain. That's why I say it's going to be a shocker to people who believe in obedient movement. Peter Obi going into power is going to be more than a film out of the blue. If it happens, you have no words to compare it. It will have no words to compare it. The missionaries that are against a free and fair election in Nigeria is more deeper than we all think. That is why even though Milokong is really in trouble and he knows it, the INEC chairman, the highest office, is a Fulani man. The president, sitting president of the country, is a Fulani man. And we have a Fulani man who is contesting. And we know of the Fulani plea, the oath to ever remain in power. It is going to be difficult for this to change now. This is not the time. The only thing that can bring about change in Nigeria is a revolution. This is the right time, the perfect time when the saying of power is taken, not given, comes in play. Nigeria can only take their power. We want to take back our country, it's not by election. It won't work. It can't work. The only thing that is going to work right now, if Nigeria needs a change, is a revolution. The people have to take their power back by force, not by election. It can't happen in Nigeria. The mechanisms against that is too deep. In Nigeria, before you get it right, a lot of bloodshed is going to go for it. And at this time, we're also going to get it wrong. A lot of bloodshed is going to go for it. Because the Fulanis are going to make sure that Atiku Abubakar becomes the president of Nigeria. The Yorubas are going to be angry. The Southeasterners are going to be angry. The Southerners, the West, everybody is going to be angry. Whether Obi wins, there's going to be bloodshed, and the power cannot come there. And he cannot even be declared the winner in the first place. That's what makes it very worst. Atiku Abubakar is going to be declared the winner of this very election. The Milokong will use his whole force, maybe combined with Igbos, to say this is not going to happen. Maybe that will lead to the revolution that is going to bring back our country for us. But the sad aspect of everything is that it's going to be a lot of bloodshed. And the Fulanis don't care about that. Even if the Igbos care, even if the Yorubas care about bloodshed, nature won't care because it has to happen. It has to happen. It's a bitter situation. It's a very sad situation that is going to arise in Nigeria in some couple of days from now. But it's a one that Nigeria can no longer escape. Nigeria can no longer escape this very wave that is coming. It's like an earthquake. It will be like a volcano. This is a thunder, rumbling storm. It's going to be so drastic, destructive. It's going to be deadly. We don't know where it might lead, but we know what is to come. Disaster awaits Nigeria. Even the international community is not going to allow P2B to be the president, no matter how they are pretending as at this point. They make their wealth when the foolish is in power. So they must have to support the foolish at all times. And the Fulanese will decide to be foolish in as much as the power will be on their side. They decide it's good to call them foolish. They accept to be foolish in as much as the power will remain on their side. From Usman Dan Fodio to this very time, it has been their wish that the power remains in their hands. And we all know that it's a pledge they made to themselves. It's a vow they aligned to. And you have them in three strategic points of this very election: the president, a candidate, and the INEC. They are all Fulanese. These are the people who are in direct control of whatever is going to be the outcome of this election. The only thing we are going to get from this election is going to be a revolution. And by the grace of God, that's the only way the people are going to take back their country. But the unfortunate thing about it is that a lot of people are going to die. A lot of blood is going to be shed. No matter whatever happens, they are not even going to allow it, the declaration of P2B as the president in the first place. It depends on how hard the people can support what is true, what they perfectly know that is rigged. The beavers is one of the greatest and clearest means of manipulation. The beavers is the only thing that is calming people down, a mechanism to calm people down, a mechanism that has brought a lot of people into the electoral system to register, because a lot of people believe that the beavers is a correction to rigging, but this is a clear manipulation machine. The beavers is the thing that is going to mellow the minds of the people to go to the polls, but it's a mere deceit for people to go to the polls. The beaver is the most corrupt thing that has ever been declared in Nigerian elections. They did it because they know that this is a very hard time. You need to incite something else. You need to pull the string by another deceitful means. High technology deceitful means. That's what the beavers is. It gives people confidence of a free and fair election, manipulate their brains and their minds to go register, get their PVCs, and go to the polls. But at the long run, the beavers has nothing to do with free and fair election. It's people who manipulate these things, who operate these machines. It's people who built these machines. They know how to cross it over. But it's only a machine to deceive the minds of the people. It's a machine that has put the greatest number of voters on the line for voting. It is a machine that has put peace in the minds of, deceitful peace in the minds of the people, believing that it's going to be a free and fair election. The beaver is the highest fraud at this very heightened time in Nigerian election. Every other thing, the money, the fuel, the milokong, the everything, the response to every other catastrophe that is going around in Nigeria is just a pretense, manipulation also, for you to think that there are other things that are hindering the election or the free and fair running of the election. No. The only thing that is going to run it is the beavers. And the people, 3 people who are in the strategic points: the president of Nigeria, the chairman of INEC, and the contestant Atiku Abubakar himself. These are the people who are running this election. Based on the pledge that they made to their fathers, to their father, the promise they make to themselves. It doesn't matter. Whatever goes, how many people goes down for them, it is all just like flies. But the wrong thing Nigerians will do is not to go out to fight for the right they know, because no matter what, if you leave them, the wrong thing will enter into power and bloods are going to be shed. If Atiku Abubakar wins, bloods are going to be shed. So the best is let blood shed, fighting for the right cause, defending that there's no way Fulani man. Even there should not be election in Nigeria, there should be a declaration of who we want. A clash of the Titan. We don't need election, even if they say they want to postpone or they don't want to postpone. It's the public, the people who are supposed to come out and say, if you can't believe in Obi, come this way. If you don't believe, if you believe in this one, then let's clash. The people that remain will rule the country. That's the only way the people will take their country. Obi might not be the leader at last when the men uproar ensued in Nigeria. But the people have to take back their land by fighting tooth and nail, either before or after the election, that a Fulani man will not go there. After the election will not be held, we want to make a declaration. Some people will say yes, some people will say no, and then the clash will start. That's the only way. Either after the election, when the presidents have been declared, then you say, no, we don't agree to that. And it will not happen. If you are ready for that, that will be after the deceit of the beavers. Because it's the beavers that is going to give you the cool head to say, let's go and try this. Let's go and vote. But at long last, you'll be disappointed because those votes are not going to make any meaning. Then if you have the strength to fight when the battle is already lost, that is a more difficult fight than a fight for the people in Nigeria to cancel the election and bring Aso Rock down. This is who we want. Or let the whole country go in smoke. Because the country is actually going to go in smoke, whether you like it or not, to allow a Fulani man to be there. Today I'm saying this is the 9th day of February 2023. I don't know whether I'm going to publish this or not. I don't know. But one day it will be made to surface what I believed. Although I am still every day having fundraising for the people who support P2B, putting in on my own strength, my money, doing what I know is going to be in vain. This is the only time a foolish man will be stupid. Knowing that something is not going to work, but you have no choice than to do it. than the stupid man. This is the time the wise man will be stupid and the foolish man will be wise. The wise man will be doing what he knows. Actually, it's not going to work, but he has no choice than to do it. The foolish man will do what he knows that is wrong, but knows that the result. Then you wonder who is foolish and who is wise. It depends on how you look at it. Because that's the situation, the confusion in Nigeria has placed Nigeria and its people. The wise man becomes stupid. The foolish man becomes wise. All because of the end result. But what counts, and what should count, and what the people should make count is that they draw down that very ghost. They destroy that very evil. They destroy that confusion. Before you want to replace a house, no matter how old the house is, it's better looking as a house, a structure, than when it becomes rumbles, drop down, like rubbles. But before you can make that old house look nice and better, you must have to turn it to rubbles, which is the worst state. From a bad state to a worse state, then you erect it to now a better state. In this condition Nigeria is, it's not a condition where you can start to renovate a house that have cracks and holes, that has no more pillars. It's a state where you have to draw the house down in order to rebuild. Nigeria can no longer be renovated. Nigeria can only be rebuilt. There are no more foundations. There are cracks and damages. There are no more pillars. There are no more roofings. It's leaking everywhere. All the whole rooms are cracked. All the whole pillars have been cracked. They can't stand. You can't amend it. The best is to pull it down. The design is old and out of fashion. There is no need renovating it. That is the stage Nigeria is. If you don't believe that Nigeria is no longer in the stage of renovation, then you are not a Nigerian. Nigeria is in its worst state. A house that you say is in its worst state is no longer in the state of renovation. It is now in the state of rebuilding. And in order to rebuild that house, you need to pull it down and not to add a single paint or cement to the completely damaged, rotten of any of any side of the standing house. That will be renovation. You cannot start from there at all. You cannot start from renovation. In the state Nigeria is today, you can't start from renovation. Nigeria needs rebuilding. The design is old. The materials are all worn out. The floors are rotten. The roofs are broken. The pillars are all cracked. The paintings have all worn out and scraped. there is nothing left for anybody to say they want to renovate. And you know there is always a state a house comes to. Then there is no need for renovation than rebuilding. In rebuilding, you need to bring the house down. You come up with a new plan. You come up with a modern system. You bring in new materials. You bring in new materials, new workers, new technology that represents the time. Nigeria is no longer in the state of refurbishing, amendment. That's not where we are. If you believe Nigeria can still be as a house, be amended, if you believe Nigeria as a house can still be adjusted, if you believe Nigeria as a house can still go under the process of rehabilitating, renovation, you have been walking dead in Nigeria. You have been dreaming as a Nigerian, living in Nigeria. It's better we tell ourselves the truth. The fear we have is the fear of knocking down that very old, outdated, lack of style, lack of stability, rotten, dirty, swampy house. When we are still living inside it. It will only cause disease, death, some parts fall on you, you sleep on dirty mods. That's what we are doing in Nigeria. Living by the grace of God, whatever happens to you inside, snakes can bite you, rats chop your food, cockroaches enter your dishes, rooftops fall on your babies, blocks fall out, you sleep in muddy houses, in muddy places. That is what we are doing in Nigeria. But we have the fear of, say, let's sleep outside for 3 months. Let's all sleep outside for 3 months and bring this house down and start reconstructing it, rebuilding it from down, from bottom to up. That's what Nigeria needs. At this point, Nigeria don't necessarily need P2B, and they are not going to get P2B. What P2B has is the finest materials, the finest technology, the modern plan, but there's no way he can attach it to that very house because the house is already down. It's already out of, it's written off. The house is written off. You cannot come with any kind of technology you have, any kind of materials you have, any kind of wonderful and the best kind of plan you have. The best advice is to pull it down before I can apply that. In any sense, without words. That's what P2B is reminding us of. A contractor, a builder who have those materials will not come to you and say, pull down your house so that I can bring in my things. It's for you to accept. Say, okay, I will pull down my house for you to build this. P2B cannot come and declare war or ask for revelation for us. But he have told us the kind of material he wants to build that house with. It's left for us to know if this material would be for renovation or rebuilding. These materials cannot even, when you place them on this very house, the house will still fall. It's for us, the Nigerians, to know. Do we accept that P2B carry his materials, his new plans, his new functions, his well-designed ideology upon this rotten, stinking, cracked home that we are? Are we not going to waste our money in supply of these very modern materials? Because if you apply that same P2B material in the house, it's not going to renovate the house. It will bring down the house also. And that is what is about to happen in Nigeria. There is no way those materials are heavier than the house. Those materials are, even the design and the material cannot go onto that house. If you bring in the equipment needed for these designs that P2B have, those equipments only coming into position will shake down the house. And that's what's about to happen. That is what is about to happen in Nigeria. The materials that P2B has is heavier. The style, the modernity to these very materials are not meant for an old, rotten, disgusted house like Nigeria. We are telling him to come and serve as the president. Now he's running for the office. And once those materials now have been brought, and I'm sure they're already in because he's already campaigning, coming to do that job for us that we asked for. We want him to renovate a house that should be rebuilt. We should have had a revelation. We have a revelation, first of all, before P2B comes emerge as to steady the ship. Because what P2B has as material is only to rebuild and not in any way to try and say, come and do what? Do what? Use this wonderful, strong, heavy equipment to come and do what? What do you think? Renovate a shaking house. Once the equipment come in, the kind of building materials, the kind of equipment that will be driven inside this very house, it's going to shake the house down, and that is what we are seeing. That's what is going to happen in Nigeria if you don't know. That's exactly what is happening. He have agreed to come and renovate. But it's not the best idea to renovate. These equipments, as much as we don't want to shake down that house before we call somebody could come and rebuild. And now we are calling somebody who have a very great, wonderful, modernized, very heavy equipment to come and renovate a rotten house. That materials, those equipments are only going to shake down that house. And that is what is going to happen. Nigeria is going down. It's not as if P2B is coming to be a president of Nigeria as it stands today. P2B has only agreed what we requested. We are requesting renovation. And P2B don't have materials for renovation. He have a material for rebuilding. Let me inform you people. What P2B has is a material for rebuilding, not a material for renovation. That's what we fail to understand. And what are those materials, those equipments, those modern facilities that he has going to do? They are only going to shake down the house because the house is already rotten, no pillars. The roof is leaking, the windows are all broken, the wall is all torn off, cracks everywhere, muddy floors, shaky foundation. What kind of tractor, what kind of equipment do you think P2B is coming with? That's the shaking you are hearing now as he's entering, as he's driving in his equipment. Everywhere is shaking. And the house cannot stand to be renovated. It can only go down to be rebuilt. And that's what is coming to Nigeria. If you don't know, that's exactly where we are now. That's the point where we are. So anybody, wherever you are, go and take a safe landing point, because go and hide in a safe place. As all those tractors, those high skyscraper equipments are coming in, as also all those modernized materials and equipments are being driven into the very apartment and surrounding, they are going to shake down the house. The house cannot stand for renovation. It's we who made the choice of renovation. And we call somebody who is a builder. The people who do renovation have all rejected this renovation because it's not possible. They have tried their best to renovate. It's not working. Instead, they are causing more crack. We have been calling people to come and renovate Nigeria. The end result is that they end up cracking more, digging more holes, damaging more and more, that they have gone past the time of renovation in Nigeria. The time now is a time of reconstruction from down up. Both foundations, all the foundations are going to be dug out. We have no other land. So we are going to completely dig out all those rotten, worn-out foundations, bring out the worn-out design of house, we bring it down, we make a fresh plan, start from the root, redesign the house again in the modern format, for P2B to bring in his modern equipments and materials and engineers. We did not do that. We started NSAS that could have led to the height of revolution before P2B will come in. The height of revolution is supposed to be at the time of SARS, NSAS. Then after that, when things cool down, then people like P2B, when the country is already damaged, the dust has settled, then people like P2B will come out with these modern equipments he have and rebuild the house. But we refused to do that. We didn't have the heart to do it. We didn't have the heart to continue pulling this house down. We left it, and now it's completely cracked. We destroyed some part that were even standing by the NSAS. Dig some bad memories and foundations into the hearts of people who who loved ones, who have tested the possibility of using a revolution to draw down Nigeria. Divided minds, divided people, divided ethnic groups, divided religions, everything has broke a crack completely. Unbuildable, unrepairable crack. And now, there's the election, which is, what do we have to do about this house? Decision taking time for us to say, and ask, what are we going to do about this sign? And we still resort to say, let's find another renovator. That's what we decided. Let's find another renovator. It's too late. Then you have renovators who are standing in front of the parties. And then you have a builder. And we decide we need a builder. And you're making a wrong choice by asking a builder to come and renovate. Well, it's not wrong because it's a lesson. It's going to bring us to a lesson. Now, P2B is coming as a builder to come and renovate. What is he going to do? He's going to bring in his equipment. That's the only equipment he has. He don't have those equipment. He's coming in with the equipment of the modern time. Equipment more heavier, more solid than the foundation that holds the house. Only driving them in is going to bring down the house. And that's where we are. The house is already shaking. No money, no fuel, no food. Trouble everywhere. People dying in the banks, people naked in the banks. Things that are not supposed to happen in a civilized nation. A rich country like Nigeria are happening. People are crying, people are suffering. That's the shaking of the foundation of the house because the materials this guy is coming with is heavier than the house. The house has to go down. So my people, get ready. Get ready to find yourself a safe place. As you join hands to rebuild that house, because there's nothing like renovation. We're going to rebuild that house. But first of all, that house is going down. There is no Hausa Fulani agenda this time. They have laid all their foundations, but it's going to be drawn down because the house is already going down. There's no other thing we need. Election or no election, election is the last straw that is going to bring that house down because this election is not going to be favorable to anybody, irrespective of who wins, even if it's P2B, even if it's a local, even if an article. The house is going down. It has to go down. It goes down with a lot of damage. The situation that house is, people are going to die. People are going to lose limbs and hands, eyes. I'm sorry. But there will be people in history. So you have to place yourself, if you are living in Nigeria, in the good side of history. That even if you die, your name will be remembered. In any case, we also talking that have not that star or that luck to be in Nigeria at this time. Many of us also will go. Something can drive you back from Europe tomorrow. Can drive me back from Europe tomorrow. We don't know. If you are destined to be there, you have to be there. You got to be there. Only place yourself on the good side of history so that whatever happens to you within this very time, you will be written in the good side of history. Everybody is bound to die. So let nobody think otherwise. Well, this is my message to you all this morning. I said, it's not going to be a good time in Nigeria. What we are all looking for is not what we're going to get, because we are looking for a renovated Nigeria that can be beautiful. It's not going to happen. What we are going to get is going to be better than a renovated Nigeria. We are going to get a rebuilt Nigeria. Thank you very much, and God help you all.